Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Shadow Ursaring in the Open Ultra League, and we're going to have a team here with another Pokemon that I'm actually even nearly more excited about. And it's actually both of them I'm really excited about, I have to say, for the day. And honestly, okay, before the video starts, feel free to copy this team, and especially feel free to run Hippowdon. This thing, for whatever reason, is so strong right now. Like, this thing literally is perfect for the Open Ultra League, beating all those Talonflames, beating all those Steel-type Pokemon, being the answer for all the Poison-type Pokemon. Hippowdon is the key to victory. Let me know, like, it is such a good Pokemon. Literally one of the best Pokemon I have played so far. Definitely, yeah, maybe even the best Pokemon so far for the Open Ultra League for me. Otherwise, we're going to have Ursaring Saisop. Cool one, for sure. Very cool Pokemon, especially if you can land a close combat against a Shadow Magnezone here. But, yeah, like, for sure, like, Hippowdon has been the best Pokemon for me in this team. Clefable, though, on the other side as well, a very good Pokemon. Like, this team is just lovely to play. Feel free to play this team here. It is just so good. It is just literally one of the best ones that you can run right now. It's great as an anti-meta team, and yeah, let's move on to the second battle. So, it's kind of also a straightforward team. Like, it is no rocket science behind this team. This is very easy to play. So even if you're not too experienced for Go Battle League, this team should be something that you can run right now already. We're going to have here Hippowdon with a Weather Ball going up against that Fire-type Pokemon. We should be in a very solid spot with that one. We're going to go for Disarming Voice. And now we can even go for Scorching Sands, which would guarantee the knockout against the opponent. Well, Weather Ball would have not been enough. But no matter what the opponent wants to do here, they don't have a chance of really realigning. So we're going to use another shield. Disarming Voice is coming through, and we can go for a Weather Ball Fire. We have a ton of lag. Lag was, by the way, my biggest issue with this team. There were some battles where I definitely lost because of the lag, and that is what it is. But anyway, we're going to see here the Virizion in the back. That is fine. We're going to stay in here. We're going to let those moves go through, as we have a double weakness to Virizion. This is like the worst possible Pokemon to encounter for this team. This is the only real weakness is Elite of Virizion. You can still, of course, swap out into your Sace up there and then try your best, but Virizion can be a bit of a trickier one, but anything else is totally fine. Here you're gonna see the Emperors, and we wanted to swap out here in time, but the opponent had the lag on his side. But we at least have still a Moonblast stored. We can swap out into the Ursaring. We are going to be able to now go ahead and go for a close combat against the opponent as well. We can try our best to go for 2 more fast moves, and this will be then enough. Again, like, the frame drops are just ridiculous right now. I see so many people even stop playing currently on Twitter, waiting until this is a bit better. But anyway, Ursaring is not really caring about any of the frame drops, just winning us this battle. Next opponent, we're going to have Pangoro in the lead. This is going to be a very solid matchup for us as well, where you can just play it out a bit. If they go for close combat, they're usually going to swap out afterwards, which allows us then to go for the Clefable against them later. Here they decide to do exactly this, go into the Drapion. We sadly see Impeta here, which is really annoying because as you're gonna see here, they're gonna go for the Awkward Tail, and as you're also gonna see, they don't apparently fear these Scorching Sands, which I feel like is a very ballsy. Like, you could just literally go down from one charge move there. And so they actually played very nicely there then, because they're gonna let the next move go through as well. And so I'm going to be forced to swap out, which is really not ideal, but also not too bad, because we have close combat on here, so I'm not too worried. I will get a shield back anyway. I can go for the Swifty even to try to get like maybe 2 shields back from the opponent if I'm going to be able to land both of them. And yes, I can even reach another Swift in time. And the opponent has no idea at this point if I have enough energy, and so they decide to use a shield again just to get hard-walled by a Clefable. And this will be very good for us, because now we can take the close combat. The opponent is going to have that Talonflame in the back, and the Swift is coming through here as well, which is going to be enough to get them kind of low. We can swap out, go for a Weather Ball, and at this point the opponent is definitely not going to survive any more fast moves, and so we're gonna have now the Pangoro against a Fairy type doing double super effective Fairy Wind damage, going for one more Swift, and we would be able to win the battle. Cresselia in the lead. This was a bit of an annoying one. Here you see a bit of lag in the beginning as well. I want to swap out, but the game just didn't let me for the beginning. Allows me although to catch the move, which is kind of nice. And yeah, I was a bit annoyed for the beginning of this battle, but it's okay. We're gonna see now the Poliwrath coming in. We can go for a close combat. That is going to be enough to do at least, I don't know, most likely enough damage to put them into the yellow health here, which is kind of fine. We're gonna have to go into our Clefable and take a hit. We are forced to go for a Swift eventually as well. Scald has a 30% chance now, I think, to drop our attack, which does not connect here with, which is really good for us. And so the Swift is going to be able to knock them out. In comes the Drapion, and we can try our best to go for a Scorching Sands here, which is gonna be enough to nearly knock them out if it would connect, but it doesn't connect. But we're gonna get the attack drop. What we're also gonna get is the opponent to a range where one Moonblast is going to be enough to knock them out, and that's kind of what my idea was behind this all. But they decide to swap out into the Clodsire, making it a bit worse for me, as Scorching Sands is gonna come through again here, gonna get them quite low. And I decided to use a shield here. I'm maybe gonna be able to catch a move, a Grass Knot on our Clefable, that would be ideal. But also like this, it's kinda okay, because we can go for that Moonblast. This is gonna be enough to get them into the deep red health, but not enough to knock them out yet. And we might have to go for another Swift in time before the opponent is gonna be able to swap out here again. But they actually swap out straight away. But it's still enough for us to reach one Moonblast, which would do a ton of damage if it does connect. Let's see if they're gonna let it go through. They decide to let it go through. And now it's down to the full farm down, and the opponent definitely misplays here a bit, but it doesn't really matter as we can win the battle no matter what. Zygarde in the lead, that is not ideal, and honestly maybe I should have played out a bit differently here, because I have a great Fairy type in the back which completely destroys the opponent's Zygarde. But I need to get it on this Pokemon, and to get this on this Pokemon, you kind of would need to swap out eventually, which I do now. I let the move go through. It's going to be the Crunch. It is going to get the debuff as well as far as our... No, it actually doesn't. So, well, it's kind of nice for us at least. We can go for a close combat though. This is going to get them kind of low, but it's not going to get them low enough that we can fully farm them down here yet, as we would need to use a shield, which I don't really want to. I kind of want to rely on my Clefable, and maybe this is a bit of a mistake, and one mistake is for sure that I didn't wait out the switch throw here, because if they have a Zygarde in the lead, they're very likely going to have a Poison type in the back, as Poison type gonna help it out with the Fairy type weakness of it, and so they're going to have even a Cobalion in the back, making it a bit of an interesting battle for us. Maybe we can even come back from this one, as Scorching Sands is going to be able to connect. The opponent can go for a charge move, which we are forced to use a shield against, but we still should be able to at least get a ton of energy here. Maybe enough to farm them down, but you see all the frame drops the entire time. Even here, the 1.8 times speed, you still see the frame drops, and as you will see here as well, we can go for a bait, I guess, with the Weather Ball to try to get them low. And I'm gonna try my best to even go for another Weather Ball afterwards, or I could catch a move. And as I go for the Acid Spray, I was thinking it's best for me to catch a move here. And you see literally the lag starting just before I would get to the charge move. And this is gonna decide the battle. It just does. Even if I got the charge move off here, which I would have been able without the lag there, I would have been able to go for 2 Swifts and I would have won the battle. And there's nothing the opponent could have done then. And it's just ridiculous. Like, it is just ridiculous. It's not about the team itself. It is just like losing us this battle here. And also still just barely only. Like, if I was able to swap out, I would have been fine. If I would have been able to go for the Weather Ball, I would have been fine. Just not like this. Anyway, doesn't really matter because this team is still lovely. We're gonna see Clodsire in the lead. Actually, a Pokemon that I still want to showcase as well for the channel. I have one built, a shiny one as well. Maybe even the same CP actually. Let me check my CP real quick. 2162 seems kind of familiar, but I don't know if the opponent has the same Clodsire than I have. No, actually mine has a bit more of CP even, and mine is a 14, 14, 15, and the opponent is a bit below that, so their Clodsire definitely doesn't have the ideal stats. But it is going to matter actually here for them, because we can go for the full farm in time. In comes Virizion, and you might think, oh, that's going to be a bit tough. And you're right with that. And so, while we had a great lead matchup there, and had like a great advantage now as well with having a switch advantage, which nobody's going to take from us, the game itself is not over yet. It is definitely not over yet, because the advantage that we kind of got here, we kind of lost already. And so, we can go into the Clefable, but we have to hope there's something in the back that we can still deal with, and it's going to be a Drapion. And that is not really ideal, but maybe we still have a chance here? Let's find out. We're going to have our Ursaring, we have some more frame drops, because that's the game we play. And the Crunch is coming through here, gonna get us a little bit low, but now we have to hope that we can still reach that close combat. Close combat does way more damage than Swift does, even though it is non-step, but look at this damage output. Ridiculous. And not only this, we can even go for the full farm down, allowing us to not go for the move here, but we're gonna be able to easily go for a Swift against the opponent. This should be it basically, right? We have a buff Fairy Wind. The opponent needs 3 charge moves in order to knock me out. Like, what could go wrong here? Like, the opponent is gonna be at like 1 charge move at this point or something like this. We can 2 more Fairy Winds. All it takes, like, easily gonna be a victory for us. Leaf Blade coming through. Wait a second. Actually, apparently the opponent has like a million energy, just like the raid boss right now. But yeah, apparently that's so, and we can move on to the next opponent. Good game to the other opponent though, by the way. I don't really want to take any win away from someone. Don't get me wrong, like well played by the opponent there. Literally winning by 1 HP in a dream after losing the lead so hard is quite a good task there. So again, I don't really want to take away from anybody's achievement with me saying stuff like this. Well played by the opponent. They deserve the win there. Like there is definitely everything went kind of fair there. Anyway, we're gonna see here the Virizion against us. They decide to go for the Sacred Sword, revealing basically their entire moveset as well. But also we have our Clefable, which is gonna be great against this Pokemon. We can take a hit, we can take a Leaf Blade here. And so we're gonna be able to get a ton of energy as well, but we're still gonna be forced to go for a Swift here. We're just gonna knock them out for sure. And now it depends on what they have in the back. What do they have in the back? It is going to be a Steelix, and I make a bit of a mistake here. What I should have done is, I should have went for a Moonblast and then swap out, which I didn't do. And why should I do that? Because the opponent needs to go for a Psychic Fangs against our Clefable in order to do anything against us, as the fast move was double resisted. And I would have been able to kind of do some damage, get basically a hit against me, clear the debuff, and still be in the same position that I would have been in here right now, just with a bit of a better advantage for me. Does it matter? Apparently not, because I can still go for a charge move here. And now it's down to Clefable against a Steel Snake here, I guess, as I can go for the Moonblast. Again, if we would have stayed in for before, we would have had the Moonblast already on the opponent. I would have been able to take a hit, I would have been able to swap out, and I would have been able to take another hit. And as you're gonna see here, Psychic Fangs does kind of get us a bit lower here. And now, of course, with the drop defense from us, it is not really ideal. And so what we're gonna try is we are gonna try to go for another Moonblast. The opponent is gonna decide to go for the Psychic Fangs here, but we have to try to knock them out with that one. And if we don't, that's going to be a bit of a difficult one. So we're gonna go for the Moonblast, and I decided to stay in here, and I can still survive it and knock them out there. That was quite a risky play. I was expecting that the opponent would decide to go straight for the charge move because they expected me to swap out, and so that's why I stayed in there. But it actually did not even work out for us, but still, it is going to be fine. And so let's take a look at the Dragalge there, which is going to be fine. Let's take a look at this one. We're gonna have the Scorching Sands coming up. We're gonna try our best to go for another Scorching Sands afterwards as well. And we are gonna see the Awkward Tail getting the shield from us. But now we should be able to just go for the Weather Ball spam. Weather Ball spam is what we want. Weather Ball spam is what we need. And we can try to even catch a move here onto our Ursaring, keeping the energy for later on in case there's like a Steel type Pokemon in the back where you need to go for a Scorching Sand. Especially with the Dragon type Pokemon in the lead, you kind of guess already what the opponent has in the back, because Dragon always kind of requires some kind of Steel type usually, as that is kind of the way to go. Here I make a huge mistake by not going for the Close Combat. I thought in the beginning, it doesn't really matter too much, and I also thought I would survive the Dark Bolts, which apparently I don't. But looking at the Pokemon in the back, I would have really appreciated if I would have hit the Close Combat, because then Switch Talk would have been unaligned. But not only this, I would have been able to put the opponent's Mandibuzz into one Moonblast range, and that would have been great. But we can still deal with it, right? We can go for one Moonblast here. That is great, but they can go for a Zapkin against me, and that is not so great. And so what are we going to do here now? We still have to hit another Moonblast. A Swift is not going to be enough from this range. No way it is. And I swap onto the Mandibuzz. The Mandibuzz is quite scary. With the damage output they have, they could maybe two-shot me with the Aerial Ace, but we're gonna get the attack drop. And that, quite literally, changes everything. But also, we're gonna go for a CMP tie against the opponent here, which is gonna be able to knock them out. And in the back, it's going to be the Registeel. And this Pokemon is not going to enjoy that Moonblast here whatsoever. This is going to be able to get the knockout, and we can win the battle. Second to last battle here, we're going to have Pangoro in the lead. That is going to be a matchup where we can at least still stay in and try our best with this. We're going to let the move go through. It is going to be that Night Slash, and we're going to try our best to go for another Scorching Sands here. This is going to be enough, hopefully, to get them kind of low. We have the Scorching Sands coming through. We're going to get the attack drop onto them. And if they go for the Night Slash, they have nothing that they can really do here, unless they're going to get to another one afterwards, which they do on the CMP tie, which is quite annoying. Would have loved to have the CMP tie here, but we're gonna get out of this matchup with a shield advantage. And I take the shield advantage as a swap out into the Drifblim, revealing their second Pokemon. I go for the Moonblast. A reason for this is I have Shadow Claw on my other Pokemon, which can also resist the fast move of the opponent and force them here to go for an Icy Wind. but it's not ideal because we don't have charge move pressure. And so we have to kind of go for the full farm down here. And any other option is not really viable for us. And so I decided to use a shield here, well knowing that I can go ahead and go for close combat against the opponent's Pangoro. And I was hoping I could swap out afterwards to clear my debuffs that I have. Turns out they have a ton of lag here. Like, this is the craziest amount of lag that I've seen so far, by the way, during the Go Battle League. Like, this was literally stuttering for like 10 frames or something. We have more lag here. But we also have basically an impossible matchup to win for us. And so I could have just forfeited here at this point, most likely. I still try my best. I still thought I can go for a Swift in the Moonblast. Turns out I can't. And so there is nothing I can really do here, especially as I got the attack drop as well. The attack drop didn't really matter, not gonna lie. But we can move on to the final battle of the day. Talonflame. Talonflame is going to be a matchup where I can at least go ahead and go for a Weather Ball. This Pokemon is going to not enjoy this one at all, and that is going to be great, because now look at this, they're going to be in range for even Shadow Claw down. Speaking of Shadow Claw, we're going to have 2 Shadow Claw users against each other, and this is why I love that one so much. I love that we have the normal typing on Ursaring while still having the same Force move as the opponent, which is one of the best ones for sure. And anyway, we're going to be able to go for another Swift here. Swift is going to be able to knock out the opponent if they let the move go through, which they do. And so we have the same shields as the opponent, and the game is over. Like, I can tell you already, this game is over. We have the Virizion aligned later against our Fairy type. We get a shield advantage here. Like, what is supposed to be happening? Like, what is supposed to be happening? We're going to be definitely in a spot where the opponent has nowhere to go anymore. And so this is going to be a good game. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this team. Again, this team is great. There are some other options as well. You can use other Fairy type Pokemon in the back if you want to. But Clefable is definitely the best choice in my opinion. You can use other ground type Pokemon in the lead, like Golurk, which I thought of, or Donphin, which I thought of. But this is going to give you issues with the Talonflame. And Ursaring is just Ursaring. Like, this Pokemon is kind of unique and very nice. And this is also a very unique and nice team. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you have not already. Check out the videos on the screen, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.